Welcome. All right. First up, let's look at the market. And today I'm doing a special crypto. We're in December. I've been saying it for the past month that we had something special that we were launching in December. So I'm going to give a sneak peek at the end of my crypto talk. And those of you that's already involved, pay close attention because I cannot stress the importance of crypto education, of having knowledge of this space. There's two things that I discovered when I switched my career and went head first into cryptocurrency. Completely changed my life and my outlook and put me on this path of education and teaching myself because I believe this is the future. That's why I do a crypto talk every single day. I can't get enough of it. The two things that I discovered, number one, is that cryptocurrencies represent the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. What does that last part mean? The most amount of people. There have been other industrial revolutions in the past, but only a select group of people have had the opportunity to participate in it. Watch the History Channel docuseries, The Men Who Built America. Not everybody had a chance to participate. Everybody was a witness, however. But this time around, all you need is a cell phone, access to the internet, and a willingness to learn. There is no racism, sexism, discrimination. Doesn't matter where you were born, what language you speak. Doesn't matter if you have a college degree or not. None of that matters. Just your willingness to learn. There is nothing holding you back. Unfortunately, what I found out is most people don't even know that this even exists. The second thing that I learned is that the blockchain technology is going to disrupt every single industry on the planet today. Whether you like it or not, whether you know about it or not, whether you believe in it or not, if you're running around still thinking cash is king, you're going to be in a rude awakening because you're going to drive through your city one day and you're going to notice Bitcoin ATM machines all over the place. You're going to go into your Starbucks like I just did a couple of minutes ago, and they're going to start accepting crypto for payment for your coffee. You're going to go to work, and your boss is going to tell you you need to have a crypto wallet because we're now paying you in digital currency because it's more efficient, cheaper, and faster for us. And that's just the beginning. Nobody is going to be left out of this. You have the decision right now as to how you're going to participate. And there's an article I'm going to cover this morning that compares this to the internet in the 90s. So let's go ahead. I can be talking all weekend about this. Let's get into the market, what it looks like today. It is at $200 billion market cap. It has grown 1.2% over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominant, 66.8%. Ethereum has risen 7.99%, almost 8%. Ripple still below 5%. So let's see. Bitcoin is at 73.96. The market looks in the green as a whole. Those of you that's part of the Coinbit Pro education group, you see Tether is in the green. You should know what that may mean for what's about to come. It's at 0.02% in the green. So we had a slight bounce up. I don't expect it to keep going that way based on just looking at what Tether's doing. I could be wrong, but we'll see. But the last hour is kind of flat line, but on the green side of the flat line. Top performers over the last 24 hours. Energy Coin. Then Matic Network, 20%. Enigma, any top coin here. Raven Coin, hey guys, what was it, just 2 or 3 days ago? I did an article and I talked about some of the altcoins you might want to pay attention to. Had you done so, you would have got a 15% gain on Raven Coin. Remember that? Those of you on the Coinbit Pro, we just trained on this yesterday. And what did I talk about? Raven Coin. And look what happened. 15.4% jump in the last 24 hours. We did our homework yesterday. You would have made some money. Let's see. Engine Coin, 5.8%. I've been holding that one for a long time. It has real world use to it. Even Pundi X is finally up a bit, 5.1%, 10% over the last 7 days. All right, so let's get into some articles. I appreciate that, Renee. Forte introduces XRP to $140 billion industry. Here's another thing. I don't like Ripple, but I'm not stupid about what it's going to do for the future. I think Ripple is going to have a major role in the future of a digital economy, even though I don't like it. Good morning, Anya from Melbourne Beach, Florida. So here's another example of another major adoption for Ripple. Forte introduces XRP to a $140 billion industry. The Ripple-backed gaming company, that's another industry you want to pay very close attention to, because blockchain technology is going to revolutionize the entire gambling and gaming industry. Hasn't hit the United States just yet, but it is going around the world. I told you guys I had an international company that is exploding. I looked at the back office just yesterday, and the amount of volume that hit in the last 2 weeks is incredible. I think most of that there was some dude from Australia that came on board, but it hasn't hit the US yet. But anybody that's in the e-gaming industry, if you've been paying attention to that, you go to Comic-Con and all that stuff, Fortnite and whatnot, e-gaming, the amount of money, the impact it's going to have is like when Netflix hit the space to the, movie world. Hollywood, Netflix is killing it. Well, e-gaming, there is more money being made on these e-gaming tournaments than the PGA Tour, than the tennis. I mean, it is going to be a monster, and we are at the beginning stages of that. I don't want to go down that road. I'll talk about that all day. But anyways, this caught my attention. Ripple is backing a gaming company called Forte. In a new blog post, co-founder Brett Seeler says the company is specifically looking at how the technology can be used to help companies in the $140 billion industry create free-to-play games that give players the option to purchase in-game assets. Do you understand? 140 billion. Do you know how big the entire network marketing industry is? It's about 40 billion. 140 billion industry, and this is going to be $1 trillion industry. I will say within the next 5 years. The free-to-play business model dominates the way games are run now. This model has grown the gaming industry more than any other business model in the last 10 years. I mean, look at. There's a movie out called Ready Player One. You want to get a glimpse of the future with this fintech, this augmented reality, virtual reality. Ready Player One. There's another cartoon series on Netflix called Sword Art Online. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I admit it. And I'm a gamer. But you want to see the future. Take a look at those things. Sword Art Online and Ready Player One. However, due to increased sophistication and competition of the free-to-play model, modern game economies are now staggeringly complex and difficult to manage. That is why the blockchain is going to revolutionize all of this. And you got Ripple getting in on this. I mean, I don't like Ripple, but I've been seeing way too many signs of real-world use popping up. And it's still dirt cheap right now. Let's look at the price right now for Ripple. All-time high was like $3.40. Right now, it is 22 cents. 22 cents. I could see Ripple getting up to $5. I mean, if Bitcoin goes to $100,000 a coin, I could see Ripple going to $10 to $15 a coin. That's crazy. With the amount of coins that's out there for Ripple. Anyways. Let's see. Bitcoin and Ethereum news. U.S.-based crypto lending platform BlockFi says it is now giving users the option to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the Gemini dollar. The platform, which offers savings accounts for Bitcoin and Ethereum with interest rates. Really? Really? As high as 8.6% says people can now send funds to its platform to buy, sell, and trade the 3 crypto assets. So those of you looking for more ways to buy crypto, there you go. BlockFi. Never heard of BlockFi. BlockFi launched in March and is backed by a long list of investors, including Galaxy Digital, Susquehanna, Acuna Capital, Fidelity. What? Yeah, I need to pay attention to Block. I did hear about BlockFi. I didn't look into it though. Recruit Strategic Partners, Coinbase Ventures, CoinSense Ventures, and Morgan Creek Digital. Litecoin news. The Litecoin Foundation is pondering LTC's falling hash rate. In a new blog post, Litecoin Foundation Director Franklin Richards says the hash rate, which represents the raw computing power on the network and how mining rigs are up and running, may have hit a bottom. Really? According to data from BitInfo Charts, Litecoin's hash rate is currently exactly where it was in December of last year, and what many believe was the ultimate bottom of this market cycle. Back then, the market price was half what it is now, but the mining reward having just been halved, it makes perfect sense why hash rate is where it currently is. The question now is, will it make a lower low, or has it formed a double bottom and due for a strong rebound? Litecoin's hash rate has fallen 69.9% since its yearly high, which was set on July 14th, just before the coin's halving kicked in and cut in half the reward miners earn for powering the network. All right, next up. Let's see. This caught my eye. Trader who nailed 2018 crypto collapse says Bitcoin is heading to $100,000 a coin. See, it's stuff like this is why you have seen me in moving the way I've been moving over the past 30 days. I believe we have a very short period of time. 6 months left now. 6 months before things change and will never be the same again. What happens in 6 months from now? Bitcoin halving takes place. It's only halved twice in its existence. The first time it halved, Bitcoin rose more than 3,000%. The second time it halved in 2016, Bitcoin rose more than 4,500%. What do you think is going to happen on the third time it halves? Now, it's not going to be the very next day. You know, experts are saying that you'll start to see that result January 2021. However, I don't rely on that. I'm giving it 6 months. So my goal, everything that I do has a purpose. Anything that you see me talk about has an ultimate goal for me. And that ultimate goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible legally before May 2020. That is my ultimate goal. My short-term goal right now is to have 100 Bitcoin by May 2020. So everything that I do is go to attaining that goal. That's all I can say about that. Why? Well, if you had 100 Bitcoin by May, how much is that in today's money? I know, $2.something million worth of coins. But what happens if Bitcoin goes to $100,000? Let's say even if it happened in 2022 and I had 100 coins. Let's do the math real quick. 100 Bitcoin times $100,000 per coin. That is $10 million. I do that right? 100 Bitcoin times 100,000. Math ain't my greatest suit, but yeah, $10 million off of what I do over the next 6 months. Okay, anyways. Bitcoin veteran trader Peter Brandt says he believes Bitcoin is heading to $100,000. The question is, when and how? This is also why those that are educated in the space don't care what the price of Bitcoin is today. They don't care if it goes up and it goes down. We are looking at where it is going to be tomorrow. In a new episode of his Bitcoin Live Trading Report, wait. Let me give a special shout out to my aunt, Patricia Wilson. Love you, Auntie. In a new episode of his Bitcoin Live trading report, Brant says BTC remains in a long-term bull trend, despite its retracement from a yearly high of nearly $14,000 set back in June. The big picture in Bitcoin remains that we are in a historic bull trend. And we can see that in a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. I believe in the long-term narrative of Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is indeed going to go $100,000, if not substantially more. I buy the long-term bullish narrative in Bitcoin based not only on what I understand to be the fundamentals, but also what I see to be the overall classical chart context of the market. What if he's wrong? What if he's wrong by 50%? Are you still cool with Bitcoin getting to $50,000 a coin? Brant became a leading analyst. So I'm not reading something from my broke cousin Pookie on the corner, or Bubba Ray from the street. He's a leading analyst in the world of crypto after forecasting Bitcoin's crash in early 2018. He says Bitcoin's past price action indicates the leading cryptocurrency is once again going through an 80% correction after a historic rally, as it has several times in the past. Based on previous declines, he predicts a near-term correction to at least $5,324. He says it will likely happen in June or July of next year and set up another bull market. So I also said the same thing. Remember, I said I believe that we are going to have at least one more major correction before we have a bull run. My bottom was between 5,500 and 6,000. He says 5,300 by June or July of next year. I hope it does. Because why? That gives us more opportunity to accumulate more coins cheap. As for what it will take to throw in the towel, Brant says he's prepared to conclude that the Bitcoin story is over if Bitcoin breaks its December 2018 low of about 3,200. All right, enough of that one. Let's go on to the next article. Those of you that's coming on late, don't worry, I have not gotten into the good news yet. The sneak peek. All right, U.S. Treasury Secretary sees no need for digital currency. Really? Crypto critic chairs U.S. committee. See, this is the stuff that pisses me off as an American citizen. We've got Vladimir Putin running around in 2016 saying, and I quote, "The Stone Age did not end due to the lack of stones. The Stone Age ended due to the introduction of better technology. Look around, the stones are still on the ground." He then went on to say, whichever nation leads the world in this new advancement of technology is going to become the new world superpower, and those nations that do not will live under the thumb of those who do. 2 weeks ago, President Xi Jinping of China came out and said, and I quote, "We are now going to be instituting a new digital currency to replace our physical cash. One of the reasons why is we want to get away from the US dollar and avoid sanctions of the United States." What else did they do? The leading app in China is creating crypto and blockchain education to teach its population about blockchain technology. You know what else he did? Any government employee that does not know blockchain technology or go through their education will not have a job. Oh, and that's not all. You know what else he said? Passed a law January 2020, an anti-blockchain law. Nobody can speak negative about the blockchain in China. It will be scrubbed from the internet because they control the internet in China. All social media, anything negative about it will be scrubbed. China has more honor roll kids than the United States have students, period. And then we have the United States. President Trump, who says, that Bitcoin is fake, is not real money, and that cash is king. And then we got the U.S. Treasury Secretary says there's no need for a digital currency. When you look at those things, who's going to be leading the world in this new technology? It ain't the United States. Let me read this. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, who has called Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies a threat to national security, and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who has stated that the Fed is keeping a close eye on the developments of central bank digital currencies, say there is no need for a digital U.S. dollar. You fool, yes there is. Despite revelations that central bankers in France and China, France, are in active pursuit of building a digital currency to expedite cross-border payments and to leverage the advantages of blockchain technology, Mnuchin is resolute. Chair Powell and I have discussed this. We both agree that in the near future, in the next 5 years, we see no need for the Fed to issue a digital currency. I don't know if this is a okie doke on us, because they've been preparing for the Fed coin now for years, since 2014. So I don't know if they're going to say one thing publicly, but prepare for it behind the scenes. Mnuchin made the remark while speaking on Thursday at a House Financial Services Committee hearing in Washington, reports Bloomberg. The sentiment underscores a written response by Powell, who replied to U.S. lawmakers urging him to explore the development of a digital currency. I'm telling you right now, if Donald Trump wins re-election and we have a digital currency, he's going to call it the Trump coin. If he loses, we'll still have a digital currency and it'll be called the Fed coin. He says, lawmakers urging him to explore development of a digital currency or risk getting left behind as governments around the globe prepare for a changing financial system. Look at that right there. You may not believe in this, you may not understand it, but governments around the world are preparing for a changing financial system. Your opinion or ignorance is irrelevant. Powell wrote, the Federal Reserve is not currently developing a U.S. dollar central bank digital currency, CBDC, that's a lie, they are, but continues to clarify or to carefully evaluate the costs and benefits of issuing a general purpose CBDC, they already know what the benefits are, defined as a new type of Federal Reserve liability that could be held directly by households and businesses. Mnuchin, a crypto skeptic who has consistently alluded to the dangers of digital currencies and how they can be co-opted by criminals. There we go again. Anybody that wants to be critical of crypto wants to use criminal activity. So, can be co-opted by criminals and used for illicit transactions, also directly address questions about Facebook's stablecoin project Libra. That is what they're scared about. They're not scared about digital currencies or crypto. They're scared about Facebook and the Libra. So they said, I'm fine if Facebook wants to create a digital currency, but they need to be fully compliant. In no way can this be used for terrorist financing. Really? Then what's going on with the U.S. dollar? Terrorist financing, criminal activity, money laundering, 99% of that is being used with the U.S. dollar. Should we ban the U.S. dollar then? That's a smokescreen. And they get away with it because the people that hear that are not educated on cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, U.S. Congressman Brad Sherman has assumed his new role as the chair of the House Financial Services Subcommittee on Investor Protection, Entrepreneurship, and Capital Markets. Sherman, an outspoken Bitcoin basher, who has pointedly stated that he would like to ban cryptocurrencies in the U.S. Really? Preventing Americans from buying and selling Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and all other crypto assets is now tasked with protecting investors. That's like telling the wolf to guard the hen house. In his bid for the position, Sherman highlighted his extensive experience having served on the Financial Services Committee for over 22 years. In a letter dated November 22nd, 2019, this is last month, actually this is just 2 weeks ago, as a former business attorney and a 22-year veteran of the Financial Services Committee, I have a deep understanding of our capital markets, of the laws which protect investors, and the issues faced by entrepreneurs. The subcommittee is also responsible for oversight of the Financial Accounting Standards Board, Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board, and Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. As co-chair of the CPA caucus, I am uniquely well equipped to deal with these issues. If that is true, then how can you be bashing crypto? You should have knowledge, especially geopolitics, that the United States is in a almost $23 trillion debt that we can never pay back. The only reason why we're still floating is because other nations is buying our securities. But as you know, Mnuchin or Sherman, Russia dumped 95% of all U.S. debt and stockpiled gold. Now we see China and Japan also dumping U.S. debt and stockpiling gold, and Japan has already legalized Bitcoin. They did that 2 years ago. And China's creating their own digital currency to avoid U.S. sanctions. So from a national security standpoint, we better be taking this serious. But to still be in denial, as an American, that makes me nervous. European regulators are also pushing back against digital currencies. Although regulators do acknowledge the technological advances of digital assets, they caution against the risk of stable coins, which are cryptocurrencies that can be pegged to other currencies or commodities to maintain a stable price. Why is that? Why is that risky? You know, the only risk I see is the fact that it is backed by a real fiat currency. That's risky. What happens when the U.S. dollar collapses? And notice I said when, not if. I think the future of stable coins is going to be stable coin that's backed to like electricity or backed by gold or something like that. That's going to be the future of stable coins. So according to a joint statement issued by the Council of the European Union and the European Commission, stable coins can threaten the status quo on a massive scale. How? Disrupting every form of monetary policy as their adoption accelerates and their reach spreads. How? So-called stablecoins may present opportunities in terms of cheap and fast payments. Why is that bad? Especially cross-border payments. That's a good thing, right? At the same time, these arrangements pose multifaceted challenges and risks related, for example, to consumer protection, privacy, taxation. That's where it is right there. Taxation. When the government doesn't control something, they don't like it. Then they go on cybersecurity and operational resilience, money laundering, terrorism financing, market integrity, governance, and legal certainty. When a stablecoin initiative has the potential to reach a global scale, these concerns are likely to be amplified, and new potential risks to monetary sovereignty, monetary policy, the safety and efficiency of payment systems, financial stability, and fair competition can arise, and that is all BS. Number one, they don't even understand what a stablecoin is being used for. If you know how to trade, then you know the purpose of a stablecoin. And I'm not getting into that here. You gotta be part of our crypto group to hear that stuff. But they don't even understand the power of the stablecoin, what it's being used for. They're afraid of the Libra because the Libra is not based in the United States. The Libra can operate without the United States. Facebook's got 2 billion people across the planet. The United States has 380-something million people. Facebook's bigger than the United States. And if they can create their own banking system with their own coin, that does create a threat to governments. That's why China wants to ban the Libra. France, Russia, they're a threat to the status quo. All right, last article up, and then we're going to talk about the sneak peek. Researchers compares, oh, I'm going to love this one. Researcher compares Bitcoin to the internet 1988, really? I compared it to the internet in 1995. But 1988 says world's leading cryptocurrency is an entire monetary system. Oh, I'm going to love this. Just so you guys know, I do not read these articles before I do Crypto Talk. Crypto Talk forces me to read these articles because I can be lazy and procrastinate. It forces me to read this stuff. All right, so it's more than a technology or a financial instrument or a consumer application. Pay close attention. If you are a novice to Bitcoin, please pay close attention to this. Bitcoin is an entire monetary system, according to Lucas Nuzzi, the Director of Technology Research at New York-based Digital Asset Research. Nuzzi maps out over 40 edgy protocols being built on top of Bitcoin, a dynamic network that he says can challenge anyone trying to flaunt the Bitcoin is old technology meme. In a new blog post entitled, A Look at Innovation in Bitcoin's Technology Stack, Nuzzi explains why the world's most popular cryptocurrency is still going strong in spite of controversy, detractors, and roller coaster price action. The network is dynamic and it's expanding. At its core, Bitcoin demands ego minimization and a modular, that's a word I haven't heard in a while, ego minimization. To keep that one in my vocabulary. And a modular approach to innovation, stamping out hubris and politics as it matures into a technologically advanced monetary system. Writes Nuzzi, Bitcoin in its totality is a constantly evolving suite of protocols. The modular approach to innovation described here is important as it plays a key role in minimizing politicism in the evolution of Bitcoin and protects its fundamental monetary properties. Remember this article the next time someone claims Bitcoin is a static technology. Okay, they're talking nerd talk here. He adds, as often pointed out, Bitcoin's modular approach to innovation is analogous to the evolution of the Internet's protocol suite, whereby layers of different protocols specialized in specific functions. Emails were handled by SMTP, files by FTP, web pages by HTTP, user addressing by IP, and packet routing by TCP. Over the years, each of these protocols evolved to provide the full experience you're having this very second. Let me break this down in layman's terms. What he's saying is, ain't nobody was talking about the internet in 1988 because all they talked about during those days was this nerd talk. How many of you, even to this day, can recognize SMTP, FTP, IP, TCP, HTTP? That's programmer language. That reminds me of if you go to a blockchain expo today, and this is the only issues I have with blockchain expos all around the country and the world. If you go there, I use even Diana Townsend as an example. She went to one in LA with me. And you're sitting in the audience. And you see these guys on stage, and they're so-called experts. They're CEO of this tech company, that tech company, this blockchain, whatever they're doing, and you listen to them speak. Nobody in the audience understands a word they're talking about. They're talking about scalability, hash rate, mining protocol, the block rates and all that stuff. Ain't nobody understand that. And because of that, nobody has a real interest in it. But you know what? That excites me because that's exactly what happened with Internet Talk in 1988. Guys, we are still at the very beginning of this financial revolution. That's what I take from this. Let me keep on going here. He says, Bitcoin is like the Internet, but we're still in 1988. To remind myself of that, I built a Raspbiblitz Bitcoin full node plus Lightning using a Raspberry Pi and a 1988 television. We might be early, But the Lightning Network solves a real problem, and Bitcoin is here to stay. That's the same talk they had in '88. We might be early. You guys may not understand this, but one day everybody's going to be using it. You fast forward to 1994, 95. You got Al Roker on the Good Morning Show talking about what is email, what is the internet. Nobody's going to use that. You got Bill Gates on with David Letterman, and Letterman making fun of him, talking about, why do I need the internet? You know, why do we need email and stuff? And then even when the internet came out, you know why Blockbuster failed? When Netflix came on the scene, Netflix had a board meeting with them and said, we want to give you guys 49% of our company. Here's what we think the future is. Because what's they called again? Hollywood Video and Blockbuster said nobody wants to get their movies in the mail. And Netflix said, you're missing the bigger picture. One day, we're going to stream videos on the internet. And Blockbuster's like, what you talking about? Seen AOL dial-up take 15 minutes for one website to load up. Ain't nobody going to be waiting all doggone day to share a movie. The technology's not there. They had no vision. This is how I look at blockchain right now. You guys could see this the way I see it. I'm not looking at it where we are today. I'm looking at the next 5 to 10 years, and I can't sleep at night. How many of you say, oh man, I wish I would have invested in some stuff in the internet in the 1980s and the 90s. Knowing what you know now, you would. You got to act as if you're from the future and you're coming back in the past and you're telling yourself right now that you need to get on this blockchain stuff. That's how I operate. Bitcoin's wide scope of projects and solutions has attracted a stable of independent developers around the world, making Bitcoin's promise of censorship resistance difficult to deny, break, or eradicate, with coders trying to solve everything from privacy issues to scalability to speed to mainstream adoption. That's all you hear about at these blockchain expos. I'm telling you, within 2 to 3 years, the tone is going to change. I'm going to London in March for the March Blockchain Expo. I didn't go last year, but I was there 2 years ago. And one of the things I'm going to be listening for is to see how the language has changed from 2 years ago when I went in 2018, from 2020. I want to see if the language is starting to look more mainstream, meaning that average people can understand what the heck they're talking about. Mainstream adoption. As we approach a new decade, can you guys believe that? I saw a post that Justice had put up about we are approaching the end of one decade and the beginning of a new. As we approach a new decade of social anxieties, geopolitical tension, and crazy monetary policy, you can be sure Bitcoin will still be here. If Bitcoin has survived the last 11 years when nobody knowing what it is and the government's trying to put it down, what do you think is going to go in the next 10 years? There's no way to put the genie back in the bottle. Bitcoin had everything to die in multiple occasions over the course of this decade. Think of the media calling it a bubble, calling it tulip mania. Have you ever seen a bubble burst and then reinflate itself? See, it didn't happen. Its power structures were tested over and over again. Yet here we are. Who would have thought a leaderless system that converts electricity into money would have lasted this long? That's why I have a rocket on my back. And I have anxiety that I'm not moving fast enough. I'm not learning fast enough. Even though I do a crypto talk every day, I covered 4 articles today, but there's 15 of them that I looked at that seemed interesting. This is starting to move very fast. I can't keep up. Crypto education, I can't stress the importance of that. Now this leads me into, a little over 30 days ago, I made some shocking statements. Everybody knows that for the past year and a half, that my entire focus has been on creating crypto education through a company called KGX, then Cryptogenics, and KGX, then Economics, to bring crypto education. For whatever reason, Economics was not able to launch as we had planned in the time that we had planned. I went more than a year without promoting anything else or selling anything else. I did very well in the crypto space. I was able to support me during those times. But at some point, you got to make a decision. And what really was getting to me is that May 2020 date was getting closer and closer and closer. And instead of moving forward, I was moving backward. So I had to make a change. And I'm not going to go into the whole decisions that you've been listening to me, you already know. But I said that there's something that's launching in December, that's pre-launch, that we're working on, that will probably be bigger than anything that I've ever done in my business career over the last 10 years. I never said the name, and I'm still not going to say that. What I'm going to do is I want to show you what this is about, what it's all about. And it's all about charities, philanthropy, causing, giving back to the community. That's what this is all about. And I want to highlight two causes that was shared to me. The first, Justice LeBron shared this with me, and it really touched me. This is what we're all about. See, and she gave me permission to share this story. When she was living in Puerto Rico, her mom is in Florida, and her mom's health was in decline, and she was making plans to fly to Florida and back and forth to be able to see her and visit with her. And that's kind of difficult to do if you've ever had a loved one in that situation. I have two grandmothers. Both of them are suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's. One that's turning 96, 97. My cousin Lisa Sherrill just hopped on, her aunt, my grandmother. And she's getting older in age. And she just, the last 2 days, she fell. We had to call the paramedics the first day, 2 days ago, and then she fell again yesterday. And when you have aging family members, you've got to, deal with having to take care of them. So she made the decision to move to Florida to be able to be closer, to be able to help and take care. And one thing that she did not like was the circumstances that her mother was living in as far as the care that was being done. And she wants to do something about it. She wants to be able to have enough resources to be able to give her the best care possible. I'm telling you now, a 9-to-5 job ain't going to make that happen. Not going to happen. So she and her husband, they work from home. They take care of their family. And as I've always stated before, my generation, we're going to have to be responsible for not only taking care of ourselves, but taking care of our parents' generation, maybe our grandparents, if you still have them. I still have two grandmothers, and our children, who, because of our economy, is more likely they're going to be living at home until they're in their 30s. So you got to have the resources to do so. And this opportunity is giving individuals a way to share their passion, share their cause, and to allow others to help to contribute to this cause. So it says, I may have Alzheimer's, but I'm still NHTSA, a cause for my mother and Alzheimer's patients with aggressive behaviors that don't fit in. That relates to me. Both my grandmothers have Alzheimer's. One of them doesn't recognize me all the time. At least my grandmother, Lisa's aunt, the paramedics asked her, pointed at me, who is that? And she looked at me and she said, it's Brandon, or it's Big Man. She calls me Big Man. That's Big Man. Oh, why did I just say that publicly? Brandon. And they say, great, but she does have some form of dementia. And Alzheimer's. My other grandmother is far worse. One time she called me her son, my dad. Another time she had no idea who I was. Well, she has good days and bad days. But look at this. Not all Alzheimer's looks the same. I may have Alzheimer's, but I'm still Nitsa. I'm going to read this. It's difficult to see loved ones with Alzheimer's disease deteriorate right before your eyes. Many are placed into assisted living homes as their condition worsens and family cannot provide in-home care. Yet what happens when the homes who accept your loved one deem them inadequate to live among other residents due to behavior problems? You see, not all Alzheimer's patients are the same. Most are calm or in a daze. But this condition also causes our elderly to do things which are counted as aggressive behaviors, such as screaming, spitting, whining, etc. And just as unruly or special needs children need to be where they are understood and cared for, so do Alzheimer's patients who are marginalized and rejected from homes they do not fit into. This happened to my mother, and she has since been moved on 4 occasions because of it. I am looking to place her in a home where she can live with care, dignity, and peace, which we can call home for her. Lisa, you know what they call me. This happened to my mother, and she has since been moved on 4 occasions because of it. I am looking to place her in a home where she can live with care, dignity, and peace, which we can call home for her. It has inspired me to do the same for others in the same position. I found most of these homes are very costly, and our elderly need not be forgotten or mistreated, rather cared about and cared for properly, according to their special needs. We can achieve this by helping families cover costly relocating and specialized care assistance fees, while raising awareness for our elderly in memory care facilities. I believe this is the first step to helping our loved ones with Alzheimer's achieve the attention and care they deserve. I appreciate your contribution to this cause. This is what we're all about. How would you like to have a platform where you're able to share your cause, your charity, what you're passionate about, so that others can join and help you and contribute to you in that cause? That is what we're all about. That is what just launched. Let me show you one more. Look at this one. Here's another cause that I saw. Support a new building for over 400 AIDS orphans in Uganda. It's a personal cause. Andrew Kabula, founder of URICT, Uganda Joy Orphanage. URICT, Joy Children's Home, is a project of URICT, that's what I'll call it, Uganda, founded in 2005 by Andrew Kabula to respond to the overwhelming needs of the HIV/AIDS orphans in the community. HIV/AIDS have affected each and every family in Kamuli, eastern Uganda. In so doing, there is a social breakdown in many aspects. Though Uganda has made some success in the fight against HIV/AIDS, it only sounds good on paper and urban areas, not in the rural, remote, poor villages where URICT is operating. Over the years, we have been so blessed with friends from different parts of the world who have stood with us. We have been able to establish a community school serving close to 400 HIV/AIDS affected children aged 5 years to 17. We have made success in creating access to safe, clean water and many other projects, as you will see in our achievements list below. So he's got a list up here that the donations could help, anywhere from $1 to $25,000 on what it pays for. And then he's got a whole list. I'm not going to read all of this because it's lengthy, but achievements of Uganda since its establishment under Andrew Kabula's leadership. So he's got a whole list of accomplishments that they've hit here. It says URIC projects are designed and implemented following a holistic, integrated approach that focuses on the physical and psychological needs of children and women in their totality, while paying attention to how their social, political, cultural, economic surroundings influence their well-being. URIC strives to ensure all interventions are geared towards sustainability, the long term. URIC is a growing and learning organization open to ideas, suggestions, criticisms, technical support, and guidance so that we can move towards self-reliance and be able to serve our clients even much more better. I am familiar with this work for a few years now. It is bona fide and very sound, worthy of our support. And he is using our platform to be able to share his message, share his story, share his cause, and be able to get contributions to help make this a reality. And for the very first time in public, I'm stating the name of this company. It's called Up to Give. That is what this is all about. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end this crypto talk. I hope you learned something today. As always, that is the point. We are in pre-launch right now. We just got started. Official launch is January 11th. Any of you that want to be a part of this mission, this movement, not only to help yourselves, but you're going to be able to help others. I'm doing a private presentation tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, that is something for me to do something on a Friday night. This is my Wingstop night. So I'll get my Wingstop afterwards. But tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and I'm typing it in here for you, on HTTPS. It's going to be a Zoom. You get the link. We invite you to take a look. You want to be a part of it? Great. Let me know afterwards, and I'll send you a link that you can get started in. If not, great. Be a standby watcher and at least support those that have their causes set up for things to happen. Also, one of the causes that I'm going to be covering is also my cousin Lisa Sherrill, her brother, my cousin Robert Smith. He is a former NBA player. He is a UNLV legend, color commentator also for the UNLV Running Rebels, that about a month and a half ago suffered a stroke and is on his road to recovery. Thank you for those of you that have been giving us prayers, but medical costs of that is very expensive. So I will also be putting together a cause for my cousin Robert, Lisa's brother. But what is your cause? What is it that you are passionate about, that you would like others to help you with? That's what we're all about. Have a great day, everybody. This was probably one of the best crypto talks I've done this year because of the message. But also, I want you to have a sense of urgency that 2020 is right around the corner. And we are on the verge that you can create a brand new decade for you and your family, starting over. God bless. See you all later this afternoon or tonight. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.